Welcome everyone to another Grow, Get Ready with Entrepreneurs Lunch and Learn presented by our Grow members. And what is Grow? It is a gathering of like-minded entrepreneurs. We're interested in building our brands through networking, sharing of ideas, and best practices. And as much as there is a focus on topics related to marketing, our goal is really to take that holistic approach to building a sustainable business to support our people, planet, and profits. To learn more about Grow, head on over to our website, acornstudio.marketing/GRWE, or use that QR code. It is free to get started. And here's a little bit about what you get. Newsletters, weekly, I send them out. We do webinars such as this and some other learning ones. We have a Facebook group, networking, lunch and learns, free resources. There's lots here. So please do head on over and get signed up if you haven't done that already. How to hire your first employee. Acorn Studio Marketing is hosting this as part of our Grow series. We are a small boutique marketing agency helping entrepreneurs build our brands and businesses in a digital-first economy. To learn more, and if you're interested in some of our services, visit us at acornstudio.marketing. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Laurel Cooper. From the L. Cooper Way, she has a lot of experience, 20 years exactly, in corporate talent acquisition, and she works closely with businesses to help them understand their unique story, brand identity, and growth aspirations. Her mission is to help businesses not just compete in the marketplace, but thrive in today's challenging landscape by finding and nurturing the right talent. Be sure to check out her website, thelcooperway.ca.
All righty. Are we ready to go to learn about all the information and the details that you really should consider even before posting a job? I sort of equate it to an iceberg. We always focus on what's above the water, and you don't realize that there's so much below that you can't see that is just as critical. So I've termed this web series, this part one, the 75%. 75% of unseen work that you really, really should do in order for you to hire successfully the right person for your team, for your business, and so that you don't have to redo the hiring. Again, Laura was very kind to introduce me. I'm the founder of the L. Cooper Way. I've spent most of my career in talent acquisition, ventured out on my own less than a year ago to really work with entrepreneurs and small businesses who still have a passion for what their business is, because I want to bring passion back into hiring team members. People are people. And so let's bring the human back into the human resource section of your business. Why are you recruiting? I know it seems like a simple question, but you really have to think. So are you replacing somebody? And as an entrepreneur, you could actually be replacing yourself. You have been juggling everything constantly, and now you're at capacity. You're replacing yourself from a business need. So there's too much work for you to do on your own. And you've grown organically to the point where you need to give some of the duties away. And it's really hard for small businesses and owners, but you have to delegate. And it's so hard to delegate aspects of your baby you've created, this business that you are holding on so tight to. But really sit down and say, okay, I need to replace myself so I can grow the business. But the other way that businesses grow is if you've gone to find investment money and you have the money to grow, you need to hire people to grow. So you hire and then you grow, or you grow and then you hire. So it's very different in how you're thinking about how you're hiring and who you're hiring and why you're hiring. Do you have the need, or do you have a growth plan? You have to really truly understand why you're recruiting for this position. And it's not just a simple question, it's a bit of a loaded question, and you really have to dig down and figure out the reason being. So once you've found out and discovered why you're recruiting, the next phase is, well, what's your time frame? And you have to ask yourself these questions. Do you have an immediate need? Is it a near-term need, or is it a long-term need? And quite frankly, if it's an immediate need, you're behind the 8 ball already, because often the immediate needs are how you get an employee or a contractor from the Thanksgiving table, because you're like, oh my gosh, I need all of this and I need somebody to help me with this. I'll just take the first person who says I can help you. Whereas that may not be the most successful employee placement. That may not be the way that you want to hire. And if you have an immediate need, you have to have a reality check in that on average, it can take 44 days to hire the right fit for your company. So we're at the end of June now. It's a great time to be thinking who you want to hire in September, who you want to hire the last quarter of this year, even who do you want to hire in 2025, because you never want to be behind the 8 ball, because that's when mistakes happen. That's when you don't have a lot of options. And so you go for the low-hanging fruit, the easy solutions. And I promise you, the immediate easy solutions will backfire long term. So it is very much be proactive, not reactive when hiring. And the reason I also say be proactive and reactive versus reactive leads us into the next slide, which is there are plenty of grants and government assistance, whether it's from the municipality level, whether it's from provincial or federal. There are a lot of opportunities for assistance. Here are just some examples of grant resources. It will take you a good week, 2-3 weeks to go through all of the options for grants and assistance to figure out what ones are really tailored to your needs, what ones your business is qualified for. And that's why you want to be proactive. You want to be thinking about hiring your first employee in September, because then you have 2 months to really go through all of these grant sites to figure out where you can get financial help in hiring your first person. You know why you're hiring, you know when you're hiring, you know that you need to maybe look into and accessing grants and government assistance. So what do you do now? You have to figure out where you want to recruit from. Think about the job you're hiring for and where qualified people will be searching. You're not going to hire a paralegal from a newspaper ad. You're not going to hire a foreman at a warehouse from LinkedIn. Those don't work. You have to go where your audience is. My favorite line, not the Thanksgiving table. And maybe your cousin's girlfriend is great, but you say, send me your resume and we'll go through the interview process. But it should never be a handshake and like, hey, great, you're available on Monday. I'll pay you $20 an hour and let's go. You don't know, does the girlfriend have vacation? Does she have the skills needed? Are there other issues that and requirements that she needs? So don't just hire through a handshake. There's professional sites like LinkedIn, Indeed, Facebook. Word of mouth is fantastic. I'm not saying don't recruit through word of mouth. It is a fantastic way to find great talent, but you want to put the word of mouth candidates through the rigors of an interview process. So don't just say, hey, my son's off on vacation, or like he's off university for the next 4 months and he really needs a job. Okay, I'll let him come and help me at the shop. Don't do it. Put every candidate wherever you find them through the rigorous interview process. I know it feels like a lot of upfront work, and it is. It's 75% of it. However, I promise it will save you in the long run. There's also job banks. There's the newcomers job bank that's available. There are plenty of ways to recruit and to attract. And still to this day, there are newspaper help wanted ads. I mean, and they get pushed to local news sites and online. So don't necessarily discount print, depending on the types of skills you're looking for. Really think about the person you want and where you're going to find that person. Because if you don't pair them together, you will be running around in circles, not finding the right person. Where do those skill sets and qualified people, where are they searching? Where are they? You know where you want to recruit. Then you have to put a job description together. Job details is the information that you need to think about before you even post a public job description. This is information that you, as the owner of the company, need to think about first. Is the first person you hire, are they going to be an employee? Which you require, you'll have to do their T4. You're going to have to deduct all of the taxes off because that's your responsibility. Or do you want somebody who is a contractor, who's incorporated or sole proprietor, and they are in charge of handling all of their taxes. So therefore, you're just paying them an hourly rate and then they go and handle their taxes. It's very, very different. And I know a lot of small companies pay cash and so forth, but if you're trying to grow your business to be more than a 1 or 2 person shop, try to start with the very first employee doing it the right way instead of at employee 5 when the first 4 have been paid cash, and then all of a sudden you want to flip them all to T4s. And then there's some rigmarole because they don't want to pay taxes, but you have to pay taxes. You have to give them a T4. So start the right way at the very beginning. And then for an employee, are they salaried? Are they hourly, and or are they commissioned? You need to know that before you go out and seek qualified candidates, because now it is the law that any job posting has to have the salary bandwidth on it. So if you're posting something on LinkedIn or Indeed, you need to disclose what that salary bandwidth is. Again, first-time employee, are they part-time or are they full-time? Maybe your first employee, you only need them 20 hours a week, but you need to know that, again, before you go to the outside world. And remember, 44 hours is the max before it's overtime. So if you're paying hourly, 44, and then it's overtime pay. So especially companies that are very, very busy in certain seasons, they have to be aware that up to 44 hours, an employee is paid their hourly rate, but then beyond that, it is overtime. A lot of small companies don't really think about benefits, and that's fine. There are insurance companies that do offer small companies small benefits package, but that can go on the back burner for your first employee or your second employee. But you need to know that because that needs to be in the job description. No benefits offered, or, this is a contract position where the candidate is required to cover their own benefits, health benefits. And then if you're in landscaping or any kind of manual labor, do you have adequate insurance? Do you have WSIB? Just because your employee or contractor are driving their own car to a job site, if they get in an accident, you as the company that they are employed for, you have to make sure that they're okay. You have to cover your behind. And again, this is so much information, but you might as well do it at the very beginning so you get all your ducks in a row so that hiring your first, second, 50th, 100th employee goes smoothly. You're looking at what your provincial taxes are. I mean, I know it's different, Ontario, Alberta. You have to do that research. You also have to figure out, are they remote? Are they hybrid? Are they on location? What kind of other certificates do they need? Do they need food safety because they're going to be in a kitchen? Do they need CPR? Do they need forklift? There are so many details that we don't think about. And often that's why we do a handshake across the Thanksgiving table, because this can be overwhelming, but I'm just saying, do it right the first time and you won't have to do it over and over and over again. So once you've figured out the job details that are in your mind, you can start creating a job description. Companies, people usually cut and copy from other job descriptions, which is fine. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but treat your job description like you would a marketing goal. Make it a SMART goal. You want to give all of that information to candidates that are looking at your job description. You want to be very specific. Details have to be measurable. They have to be attainable. They have to be relevant. They have to be time bound. And time bound can be, we need a driver who has to do 10 deliveries a day. If you can't do 10 deliveries a day, then it's not the right fit. Or I have a contractor, I have a project that needs to be done in the next 6 months. So this is what I need. I need somebody to do this graphic design work in 6 months. And it has to be relevant. So if you're looking for somebody who you want a writer, you have to say, I would like somebody with 1 to 2 years of copywriting experience. Be very specific, because you're going to get a lot of people just sending resumes to your posting, but the really good individuals will look through it and go, yeah, that's really specific, or it's measurable and I can do it and it's relevant to what I'm doing in school or what I graduated from. And yeah, okay, I can do this project in 6 months. Yeah, no, absolutely. And so you get candidates excited about not only the job, but your brand, what they're going to be doing. You create loyalty and excitement when you give candidates the information that is clear and concise. And then you achieve your goals once you find the 1 or 2 candidates that really look through the job description and said, man, this is me. This is me, because you have given them all the details that they're like, wow, I fit into all of this job description. I want this job. And those are the people you want. You want the people that say, I want this job. Those are the motivated people that are like, I'm going to email and say, hey, can we set up interviews? Those are the eager people that you want to hire. Because again, as small businesses, entrepreneurs, this is your baby. This is your business. You put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. Your first hire, your second hire, you want them to be as in love with the opportunity as much as you're in love with the business and the passionate business you've created. So give them all that information so that you can find 1, 2, 3 amazing qualified candidates that are like, oh my gosh, not only do I have the skills, but this is such a cool company. I want to work with them. Those are the ones you want. Then after all of that, you can post your job. A lot of information is below the surface, but if you treat it as an one big exercise at the beginning, the iceberg above the surface, it will be easy to tackle.